Hey, it's Enryu, and this is a no BS guide on how to basically instantly start winning more games on ADC. This is not clickbait, and the next 20 minutes or so will be really helpful for you if you're willing to sit through it, but if you have a TikTok brain or ADHD like me, for example, then maybe this isn't the best video to watch, because you really have to sit through it to understand. But when I was learning ADC, I probably would have loved to see a video like this so it could help me speed up my climb to Challenger. So to start off, the concepts in this video will apply to every single ADC and every single game. This isn't one of those videos where I'm trying to nitpick something or show a rare occurrence that only happens every few games. The advice I'm going to give pretty much applies to every game you're going to play as ADC, and it will help you become a better ADC player in the long term and improve faster than the other people in your rank, so that you can save time and effort. It took me thousands of games to learn these things, but you shouldn't have to do that. Let's begin. Disclaimer, this is a Grandmaster Challenger lobby, but everything I'm about to say will work for you even if you are in gold. If anything, the fact that these things work in high elo just mean that they should work even better in low elo, where no one really knows what's going on, and it will give you an advantage if you know these things. And I make a ton of mistakes in this game. I will point out every single one as well as things that I do well so that you can learn from it and finish this video without feeling like you wasted your time. And spoiler, we win this game, but I really think it's important for you to learn the process of how we won despite having such a horrible early game. First off, before lane starts, you really want to determine whether or not you are stronger than the enemies at level 1. And I'm not just talking about champion strength, but also mentally. Are you stronger than the enemies? Because you could have the easiest matchup in the world. And, if you're playing the best champion in the game, but you don't play like you're supposed to, then you're still weaker than the enemies. And this pretty much just ties into like, should I fight the enemies in lane? Should I just AFK scale? This is a very important concept because there are challenger players who play like a psychopath, and they're mechanically great at the game, but they don't use their brains that often. And they still hit Challenger because they keep fighting and they just outplay their opponents, right? Think about really good Draven and Ezreal players. And then there are players who are just walls that know how to scale really, really well, right? They're just rocks, and they won't budge, right? And they can carry mid to late game with hyper carries like Jinx and maybe even, certain Nila players, right? And I don't know how many of you know basketball, but basically you just shoot balls into a hoop and you get more shots than your opponents, you win. Let's say I'm a great offensive player, right? And I can score 40 points a game, but my defense is really bad and the enemy score 60 points on my forehead because I just can't defend. I'm still a liability, right? It's about finding a balance between doing what you're good at while not ruining the game. If you like scaling, don't just AFK and farm. Help your teammates when they need help. And if you like fighting, take smarter fights. Don't die 10 times a game as an ADC. And I'll talk more about that later, but this is something you really want to keep in mind. Obviously this is generic advice, but we'll talk about that later. But first, I want to say no one is perfect. You can only be as good as you can be, which is why mental strength matters, because more often than not, when you're trying to improve, there's so much to learn that you just have to try and stay positive so that you can kind of improve as fast as you can. And I used to be a really, really bad scaling player, and maybe even now I'm not the best scaling player ever because I have ADHD and I just like fighting permanently. And I like to see health bars dropping, right? But lately I've learned to just kind of chill for a bit when I have to, and it has pretty much gotten me a lot more wins than I realize. Like sometimes I just look and I say like, wow, I really, like, how did we win this game? And so let's look at the game right here. When we get 0 for 4 in the enemy jungle, the enemy laners are really ahead now, right? She's a BF sword ahead of me. She's trying to freeze this wave. But when I see her move like this, and she's freezing the wave, she's taking damage for free, I start to look for an angle. I'm hiding so she doesn't know I'm here. And then the Jana tornado doesn't connect. But I still walk up anyways because I know that she's in a choke point, and then we end up being able to run her down here. Obviously we play the fight as best as we can, and if she decides to keep fighting us, then we'll go back in, right? And I see that she's 1 HP, so I flash in for an auto that kills her. So this is like small recovery. Obviously I made a mistake in the last fight where I didn't flash, and that ends up not getting me that Graves kill, right? Graves lives with 1 HP and I die. But at the grand scheme of things, that mistake that I made allowed me to make this play, and I'm not saying it's a good thing, or I'm not saying it's an excuse. I should always try to kill the Graves with flash. This play, or whatever just happened, is pretty much just me trying to tell you, if you make a mistake, it's okay, because you can always make up for that mistake later on. At the end of the day, League of Legends is a game of gold, especially if you're playing ADC, right? Gold is very important, and it doesn't really matter how you get that gold, as long as you reach that point. So, the moral of this story is, you can be behind, you can make mistakes, but as long as you get to your 3-item spike, 4-item spike, whatever it is late game, it doesn't matter how many mistakes you've made before. You have technically many chances to make up for it, right? If you go 0-10, but you end up getting to late game anyways, all that matters is how you play in the late game. So in general, it's probably better for you to move on from these mistakes. And as you can see, this is very boring, right? It's not like a regular gameplay video where like people show you like, oh, okay, we're just getting like 50 kills on ADC. Most of your ADC gameplay is going to be boring like this, where you're either just hitting the turret or you're trying to poke out the Jinx, right? So I'm right here, I'm autoing her and then walking out of turret range when there's those minions. And I'm just trying to punish her on every single auto. That is something that anyone can do. It's not some crazy mechanic. You literally just hit them and you walk away. We're just standing still. We see that the enemies are fighting top lane. So what do? We pan over, and this is what I do in game as well. I just look at my teammates fight when I don't have anything to do. So far, it looks pretty horrible. Like we're getting flanked here by Mbessa, and it looks like this fight is lost. We got one grub from this, and then that's it. And then we die. So what are we doing bot lane? We're just pushing, right? We obviously can't affect this top lane fight. Maybe Janna can if she moves up, but I can't, right? I keep hitting this turret. This bot lane turret is the closest one to getting killed, so that's at least something going for us. And I do have a lot of gold, right? I'm farming pretty well as Sivir, but I have no mana, so I'm going to recall. This is something you should do. Low health, low mana, just recall. Even if you have to give up a little bit, it doesn't really matter. As long as you don't die, you end up losing maybe like one wave. It's better than just sitting in lane with no mana or no health and just like straight up missing even more. So if you have recall, just take it. And Ziggs takes the tower here, so we are poor. We don't get to get first turret by ourselves. But it's okay. As you can see, whatever they're doing here doesn't concern with me. I'm just pushing bot lane, taking as much CS as I can. Right now, it's 10 minutes, 40 seconds, 50 seconds, and I have 100 CS. So this is like not bad, right? Or sorry, that's bad for me to say. This is good, right? I'm not trying to be egotistical here. 100 CS is really good, but if I didn't miss that many, I would probably have 110 right now, right? Obviously, you shouldn't have to do this every game. I'm just saying for my standards, it's not as good because I'm AFK, right? I'm AFK, not doing much. But obviously, every game you can only do what you can do. As long as you try your best, just don't complain. And right now we're mid lane because Ziggs has to recall, and then he's going back bot lane, right? And he took our bot lane turret, obviously. But we're just gonna stay mid here. And we see Ryze Sona right here. I take like a short trade. This is more so like I'm just bored. Trying to hit them. You don't have to do this, and obviously in different matchups you shouldn't do this because if you hit the mid lane and then someone else comes and kills you, it's not worth it. So when you are mid lane as an ADC, which is usually after lane phase, right, after bot turret is dead or another side lane turret is dead, and then your top laner or mid laner wants to go side, you want to stay safe as possible. You don't want to fight, you just want to scale, especially if you're playing a champion like Sivir or Caitlyn, right? If you're playing Enryu, maybe you can move up a bit more. And now we're looking at a fight down bot lane while I hit these guys for a little bit. Nothing special happens, and then I just pan back mid lane, right? So this Ryze, Graves, and Bessa, all of them are so fed. Like, these three are the biggest problem in this game, while Jinx is kind of just like chilling, right? So what can I do about that? I just keep farming because I know that I will outscale them if I get the opportunity to hit 3-4 items, because that's every single ADC. Every single ADC has an item breakpoint where they become very, very powerful, especially if you have a support that heals you. And for Sivir specifically, it's 3 items. For, Jinx, it's also 3. And there's some special cases where ADCs peak at like 1-2 items, like for example, Ezreal at Triforce is very, very strong, but he doesn't scale into the late game. He's pretty much the same all game long, with the power spike at like 1 or 2 items when he finishes mana mute, right? So there's some things you kind of have to understand where different champions just have very different spikes. And so this is the boring part. Again, we're trying to just farm as much as possible. And Mbassa right here, like this Mbassa champion, she almost one-shots me. And I guess I should have expected that, but like, this is also a mistake that I make, right? And when you make a mistake, you low health, low mana. And when you make a mistake, low health, low mana, like I made, you just recall. And I took this recall, enemies get Mountain Drake. Might be coping when I say this, but we couldn't have fought this Drake anyways because we're just so behind. Like, maybe it's not even cope, it's just the reality. We just keep farming, we just keep scaling, that's all. This entire video is essentially just a therapy session, right? And we take advantage of the Graves here because he makes a mistake. We ult, we fight, and then we just kill. Bad bury by me. I should never bury there. I don't know why I got scared, which is, another mistake. And we keep on chasing Sona because she's low. and I have movement speed from my ult, so we can get to chase this. Hit her with red buff, so she's slowed by a little bit. Q, finish off the kill. That's a pretty big gold injection, right? 3 kills onto us. We close the gold lead into like less than 2k gold. Enemies will always make mistakes, right? Just like you. Point of the story is if you're playing an ADC, and this works especially good in low elo, where you just play the scale and make little mistakes, as in like you can make small mistakes like where I just did, right? Where I had to recall because Ambessa almost one-shot me. Just don't die like 50 times. Don't even die like 5 times. As long as you lower your deaths, you can farm more. And it makes sense, right? Because if you're alive, then you get to farm. If you're not alive, you can't farm. Like, look at the enemy Jinx. She's 1-2-2, and her team was ahead the entire game, but she has less farm than me, like pretty much the entire game. She's just standing there. So like I said, Sivir is like the best champion to do this, but every single meta champion will have this capability to do whatever I do this game. And I recall I finished my second item, i.e. I'm really strong now. Despite whatever the gold graph is telling you, 27k and then 29k, we're down like 2k gold, and the enemies have 2 dragons, right? 6 to 9, but I have 2 items. I'm an ADC. I get the scale, I have an Ivern, I have a Janna. This game is completely winnable. And even if you don't have this, you would still play for a win con like this every game anyways. And as I'm panning top lane here, I see that Graves is hitting me, so I hit him back. And, you know, obviously I probably could have killed him there, but I was playing safe, so I was walking the top side. My main objective there is just to not die, that's all. And so you can say that's a mistake. I got caught, you know, I got low HP, whatever. But my goal was to hit this turret, and I saw a lot of them fighting top lane, so I decided to go for it. But now I have to recall. But yeah, if this is all very boring right now, just bear with me, because the exciting part will start soon, which is team fighting stages for ADCs. Like, this is just the boring part you have to go through every single game. People in videos, they'll only show you like the highlights where you kill like 5 people or 4 people, but they don't really show you the part where they just farm forever. And honestly, farming is the best skill for an ADC, so I feel like that should be more recognized. As a 2-item ADC here with wave clear, I just stand mid, I wave clear every single wave. I make sure the enemies don't get to my tower, I make sure we always have prio whenever we want to do an objective or whenever we want to do something, so I would always push out mid first. Right here, I'm just standing, I'm spawn camping this wave, right? As long as there's no danger, of course. If the enemies were here, I wouldn't stand this up, right? I see Sona, I immediately back off. Right? I don't try to risk it, I don't try to get this tower even though it is 1 HP. I just go back here to where I stand. This, right here, is where I belong. I'm safe. So, to eliminate my chances of ruining this game, sometimes I like limit testing, but right now, it's not the time for that because we're making a comeback. Right? And then I pan top. Whenever I stand here AFK like this, it's either I'm looking at top or I'm thinking about what to do. So right here it looks like Ziggs is just dead, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think he can live. But I take this opportunity to push the wave. Right, again, we're pushing the wave, the boring parts. But this time we get a turret, which is really big for the game actually. The fact that the enemy team is ahead, but we get to take their first mid tower, which pretty much limits vision on their entire side of the map over here, right? And then as the minion waves push, the minion waves will crash deeper into the enemy territory, which also at the same time gives us more room to move, right? Then the fight starts here, right? So you're looking at me, I'm walking into this fight, and Bessa is just low HP after getting poked out, and then I just click R and I try to bounce my ricochet, which is my W, on all of them. So I'm taking a lot of damage here, but I'm not afraid because I have my teammates all near me, and I flash away from the Graves. Rumble's blocking for me, he played this fight really well, and we end up getting a 1 for 2. And immediately after this fight, I just go straight into mid-wave. I don't really care what's happening here, right? They can do whatever they want here, but I think mid-wave is more important because not only have I lost the capability to fight since I'm 1 HP, it's also not very smart for me. This is a spectator bug, the turret is not up anymore. It's just not very smart for me to go back in with 1 HP, so I just keep pushing, doing whatever I can, right? Whether they lose or win this fight, it doesn't really affect me because, like, just look at my HP bar. It's either I recall and I come back out, or I try to take this turret. Right, so I got damage on this turret, I got a wave, I'm gonna recall right here. And regardless of my regardless of how much I care for my life here, I make a mistake. I greeted and I tried to finish the recall instead of just running. I spell shielded the MS ult, but she came through anyways, which is an interaction I did not know about, so I die here. And now we're still down 4,000 gold, right? But it doesn't really feel that way. It feels like we actually have control of the game. And now we see a fight happening over here. So I'm walking towards this fight, our Ivan is already caught, and he ends up dying to this Jinx. But the Jinx oversteps, so I click R and I just auto her. We get a kill on her. But that was a 1-for-1. They were under a tower. We're still down like 4,000 gold. Not a big deal. I'm still ahead of the Jinx. And right here, our Janna dies due to Rise Flash. I mean, there's nothing really much to see here. We just have to back off, right? They just have a lot more damage. So I'm still trying to play this fight because I see potential in it. After I step back, you know, I'm 1 HP, but I'm seeing them dive my teammates. I just cleared 1 minion here. And Mesa looks like she's trying to do something, so I'm just trying to entertain it, right? I have my barrier, I have spell shield coming up, I'm just gonna stay. And then it ends up being that I just clear this wave and we get nothing. Alright, so we're moving back up on the map again and we just came out of base, right? And I'm just trying to ricochet all these minions with, like, you know, that's my W. QW, everything, just hit the minions, make sure the wave is pushed. And Mesa kind of walks up really far here, so I decide to click R. Maybe we can go for a play. And then we see the Jinx is caught, so I flash onto her because I see that her teammates are very, very far behind. And we end up getting 2 kills because of this. And Mesa ults in, we end up trying to fight her as well. And so right now at this point in the fight, we pretty much won. And it's a guarantee for us to get dragon here. You know, we end up getting this dragon anyways, so I'm not going to show that, but I want to show you my perspective on this, right? So I'm going to zoom in a little more now. I'm going to pan over myself. So obviously I'm pushing this wave, and I'll tell you exactly when I feel like the fight is starting. I'm not afraid because I have spell shield, I have my Janna and my Ivern, so I'm not really that afraid. Lasha Jinx W. Right here is when I start positioning up because I'm seeing that Mbessa is right next to me. When my entire team is near me, I'm really not that afraid. So I'm going to try and hit her if I can, right? So I'm autoing her right here. Jinx hits me with W. It's okay. I don't take damage. And right now, I'm looking at this situation. So you don't have to be as fast, but this is kind of good practice. Whenever you review your own games or review someone else's games, you just look at the situation. So I see Sona really low. And I see Jinx right here. She's kind of caught out, right? But she's not caught out enough for me to go in on her yet. So I wait a little bit. Okay, Rumble ult. Make sure that these 3 are trapped in, like, behind the Rumble ult, right? So behind this line right here. And Jinx is just alone. So this is a really good ult by Rumble. So I end up flashing on the Jinx because she should be free, right? So that's what I do. I flash onto her, we kill her, and then we move on to the graves. So this is not really hard to understand. I didn't do anything crazy. It was just like a decision that I just made off the spot, right? Because I know certain things. Like if I just have the knowledge or the awareness to, like, say, okay, their ADC is separate from their team, separated, then I can go in. So I end up flashing in and doing that. So obviously we get this dragon. Again, we're moving back to mid lane, just clearing waves, nothing special. Like everything that we do, it's all relative to waves. We push a wave, we recall, we push a wave, we fight, but always remember to get that wave out first. I'm just doing everything I can to get as much gold as possible and then just playing fights as well as I can. And now we're back mid lane again, once again. I feel like I've said this 1,000 times in this video already, but this is the boring part that you have to do every single game, so just get used to it. We push the wave and we start looking at Baron because we feel like we're strong enough now. We start the Baron here. Enemies obviously know because they have a ward on us now, right? A blue trinket. And we see a TP behind us, so we're deciding to walk towards this TP. And so it's Mbessa. Right here, she basically gets one shot, but she flashes away. And I just keep going anyways. I just make sure I keep autoing and then only back off when there's actual danger. And so now, Rumble arrives to the fight. We end up getting an ult onto the Jinx, and she dies. But I want to go back to that fight right now. So obviously I'm Mbessa right here. There's no threat to me. I'm going to start slowing it down and pausing. So right at this angle here, it looks pretty bad for us, right? But we can't really just run out when we're getting pincered like this into a wall. We have to fight our way out. So notice my autos, okay? I want you to pay attention. Have I ever stopped autoing whenever I'm getting hit? Not really, right? Let's say if Rise is full health, like I don't hit him at all, and I just run only, would he have stopped hitting me? Probably not. When you threaten enemies, it makes them feel threatened, and then they will stop hitting you. And so the enemies here try to contest us on this Baron, and they end up dying for it. We get the Baron, which is, I'm really thankful for that, because Ivern doesn't have the best smite. And I probably could have killed the Rise there, but I really didn't want to risk anything. I don't think killing him does anything different there, so I probably shouldn't risk dying with Baron for that. So I decided to just back off, right? But I probably could have killed him and gone out safe. I just wasn't brave enough. But in a game say like this where we're coming back, I think you would say that it's reasonable for me to not want to die there, like risk dying. Right? All we have to do is just get this wave. So even though my teammates want to do Baron here, I pretty much just say, I have to push this wave first, right? Obviously, I do it really fast. I just Q the wave or I auto, and that's it. So get the wave first, and then we move on to the objective as always. It's very important. And as we're moving into the objective here, I see Graves, so obviously I'm going to run at him. I end up killing him here. I pulled the trigger really fast because I know that he doesn't beat me 1v1. I have my teammates near me, so I'm just going to go straight for it. And we end up getting this dragon. And whatever happens mid-wave doesn't really matter because we already pushed a wave, right? We pushed the previous wave so the enemies can't push no matter what, right? So that's why you always get the waves. And now that we did get this dragon, the big objective, now we can start playing for fights and playing for waves again. But we don't have any vision on the map, so the safest thing to do is to just stay mid and push. Mid lane wave has arrived, and we're just pushing down the inhib turret. I believe I make another mistake here soon again, or maybe collectively as a team we make a mistake, but I think we overstay here. Okay, yeah. So right now I'm trying to make a play because I'm thinking maybe we can end the game. So I'm going to back off here after seeing that there's no play. Ziggs ends up walking up, and I believe he gets CC'd right here. So I'm just going to click W on the entire enemy team. Keep going for it. I make a terrible play. This is terrible, by the way. If I were to flash, I should have flashed way earlier, and then I would live as well, maybe kill Rise, and then maybe we could end the game. But regardless, like, many mistakes happen, right? Like right here, my Janna could have been in our range when all of this happens. Like, Janna right here, she's over the wall, she can't really help us. She has ult, right? She has everything. But she's just kind of watching this entire fight happen. And obviously I played bad as well, but, things could have went way better for us if I guess we were all on the same page. And that's a mistake from all of us, but that's okay. The game is not over, right? We don't lose here because we cleared the wave. There's a next wave, but they don't have enough time to end. Whatever happens here is whatever happens here. Rumble ends up dying too. Now the most important thing is to just not fall into a kind of just like a domino effect spiral where like everyone just keeps dying. So when I spawn, the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure I don't die again. So I spawn now, and I'm just hitting the red buff, right? I'm taking every single camp I can get, even though I'm full build already. And then Graves just out of nowhere, over the wall. We end up healing Graves. And then we try to chase for Rise as well, but I don't think it's smart to save him. I don't think it's really that smart. Keep chasing him, and we already got mid inhib, so we're gonna have to go for bot inhib here. Biggest threat, if we end up killing Rise, we instantly win the game because they don't really have wave clear without Rise and Jinx, right? But Jinx, it's a lot harder for her to walk up. So right here, Zona gets caught. She kind of just like fanboyed us and ulted us for no reason. So right now this game is like pretty much won. They have 2 members dead. Graves is spawning obviously, but they don't have Sona, and we're just pushing into their base. Even without Baron, I think we have enough sieging power to kind of just run their base down. So right here, we're gonna hit the turret, focus the turret first, and then the fight. And then you'll see that they're all caught in the Rumble ult. They all got chunked out. So I'm gonna go ahead here and just keep autoing, right? Hitting the Rise obviously as a focus. If I can't hit Rise, then I'll hit someone else. And then we end up killing the Rise. So that was the end of the game. So just like that. Like sometimes games just seem really hard to win, but if you just keep farming, like for example, right here, I'm 350 CS, right? And it's 35 minutes. If you don't even need 10 CS per minute. Let's say like you have 9, 8. If you can do that, you can guarantee yourself a much higher win rate. And you don't really realistically need like that crazy of a win rate to climb, right? Let's say like you need 53, so excuse my handwriting, and or like a 54 to really climb. That's just like 3 or 4% more of your games won than lost. So you increase that by farming more or like dying less. It's really easy. So there's not much to it. You don't have to be double lift. You don't have to be Guma UC. You don't have to be Smash. You don't have to be crazy good at the game. Like as you saw, I don't think I did anything crazy. Like everything I did was just normal gameplay. I just hit them. It was more decision making than anything. It's just deciding who to hit, knowing who are the threats, right? And I made several mistakes as well this game. Like by far I did not play this game perfect, and yet we were able to come back. So that's kind of just like the more of the story. I hope this video helps in any way. This is very different from like the normal ADC guide. This is more like mental and more like scaling. And like I said, you can do this on any single ADC. It doesn't just apply to Sivir. It's just that Sivir has, a really good spot in the meta right now where she has wave clear and she's strong at scaling. Yeah, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed, leave a like and comment down below if you want to see more of this, or if you have any suggestions, just let me know. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.